Hi, my geniuses. Welcome to my channel. This is Carol, and let's see what we have in this episode. This whole week, we are going to see what is listening test and do some practice tests as well. For those who have not seen my first episode, please find the link in the description box. Please subscribe and click on the bell icon to receive updates. Also, if you have any queries or doubts, please ask me in the comment section. Do watch and listen and also enjoy my other videos. Today, I am going to explain the format of listening test, and throughout this week, we will practice each section in separate videos every day. So practice with me. There will be a test in the end. Please add your answers in the comment section. So now let's start. Let's look at the overview now. We'll be looking at the structure of listening test, the format, question types, some strategies and tips for you to do your test well, materials required, scoring, sample test, and a test for you. Let's look at the structure. What are the materials required to do your listening test? First, they'll give you a question booklet. You'll have an answer sheet as well, where you would have to fill your candidate name and the candidate number. You'll be given a pencil and an eraser. There are 40 questions in that question booklet. The time given for the entire listening test is 40 minutes. However, the audio time, which is the listening time, is only 30 minutes. You have an extra 10 minutes to transfer your answers to your answer sheet. There are 4 sections totally in this listening test. The next thing we're going to see is the format. The first section will be a conversation between 2 people set in an everyday social context. Section 2 is a monologue set in everyday social context as well. Section 3 is a conversation between up to 4 people set in an educational or a training context. So the first 2 sections are social contexts. The section 3 and section 4 will be a conversation or a monologue based on an academic subject. What are the question types? Sentence completion. You'll be given a sentence, also called fill in the blanks, and you would have to fill in the appropriate word or words in the accurate grammatical form. Summary completion will be there, where you need to do the same thing, but you'll be filling in more number of words or numbers. Short answer questions, when you'll be having to write 1 or 2 or more words. Table completion, which would be filling in the missing data in a tabular column. Diagram labeling, where you will have a diagram, but you would have to label it according to the information you're hearing. Another one would be a form completion. Mostly you would see this in section 1. Note completion, flowchart completion, multiple choice questions, and map completion. Tips and strategies. First thing, remember, academic and general IELTS training have the same tests for this particular module. For listening, it's the same test for academic and general. When you start your test, your recording will start, and the recording is played only once. Practice using the answer sheet because that is what is going to give you the real feeling, and you will try to score more when it comes to the real test. From the time you prepare for your IELTS, when you plan to do your IELTS, you started practicing, you started researching more about it. First thing you need to do is get copies of answer sheets for all the modules, not just for listening. For listening, reading, and writing, get the answer sheets, get more copies of it. And then when you practice from the very first time, try to do it directly with an answer sheet, with a copy of an answer sheet. The order of answers will be of the same order in the passage. So for example, you're hearing the first paragraph being read out, or the first paragraph of the conversation, and you found your answer in the second line. When they go to the third line, you might find the next answer. However, what I'm trying to say is you will not find the answer already passed out. So whether be it listening or reading, your answers will be in an order as it is in the passage. Grammar and spelling check is a must. So when you do sentence completions, when you fill a form or you're writing more than 1 or 2 words, your grammar is very, very important. So you need to go through your prepositions and pronouns, and even capitalization is very important, which I'll be talking to you in a bit. Spelling check is a must. Even if your answer is correct and your spelling is wrong, that would be marked wrong. Capital letters or lowercase. Now, your answers, when you transfer in that 10 minutes into the answer sheet, you can write in entirely the whole thing in capital letters, or you can opt to use the lowercase, but you can't change. For example, you start writing from 1 to 10 in capitals, and then from the 11th question you start using lowercase. That would be a loss in your point. That means the entire answers would be marked wrong. You cannot change from capital to lowercase. So if you decided to do capital, stick to capital letters throughout the entire answer sheet. But if you've opted to do lowercase, you have to be careful with the appropriate proper nouns which need to be in capital letters. That is something that you need to look into carefully. Be careful and read instructions properly. Instructions will be given on top of every section. You'll be given time to read the instructions before every section begins. So read it carefully. For example, write no more than 2 words and or a number. So you can write 1, you can write 2, but you can't write 3 with a number, or the answer can be just a number. So your answer could be the museum, or just museum, or 2 museums, or just the word 2. A number is considered 1 word. Word counting is very important. So if it is a cat, that is counted as 2 words. 21st September is counted as 2 words. 1975 is counted as 1 word. Multiple choice questions, you need to be very careful with this. Should your answer be in words or the corresponding number or letter? It should be the corresponding number or letter. For example, A, water, B, sun, C, food. If the answer is B, sun, then you need to write B in the answer sheet. It could also be in capital or in the lowercase. You have time to read the questions before the audio starts at the start of each section. So during that time, you need to look carefully at the instructions. Answers can come quickly, so be prepared watchfully. Be prepared by underlining the keywords as well. So keep an eye on the question you're waiting for to get the answer. Scribble quickly by using short forms. Use short forms. Beside your question, there would be space on both the sides, right and left. So you could use short forms by scribbling on the question booklet, because during the audio time, you're going to be answering on your question booklet. Nobody's going to read your question booklet. Even though you're going to submit it to the examiner, they are not going to assess from the question booklet. So you can scribble, you can use your short forms, you can use your own handwriting. It could be in any way, but it should be legible to you. So before you start hearing the audio for the second question after the first, you should be looking at the second question. You should have underlined the keyword in the second question so that when they talk about that particular keyword, you can quickly get the answer. So gaps are usually common in the audio. For example, your answer for the first one is out and you've started writing it in your question booklet. You're waiting quickly for your second answer. There could be a gap. They'll be talking about a lot of things, but you wouldn't be hearing the second answer at all. This might create a little bit of panic, but you don't have to worry about it because you've already underlined the keyword for your second question. So if you underline your keyword in your second question, you don't have to bother because you have to wait for that keyword to be mentioned. But it could be paraphrased also, so be prepared for that. Answers can change. This is one important thing. For example, they said, I would meet you at 8 o'clock tonight. So they would agree to it, and after a minute or so, they would say, I think we would meet after 9 o'clock. So the answer actually changed. So the answer would be 9 and not 8. So that you need to be careful about. Keywords can be paraphrased, as I mentioned earlier. So even if you've underlined your keyword, you need to wait for that word to be mentioned or a paraphrased word. That means a word that has been changed, but the same meaning remains. There isn't any negative marking. So remember that when you're answering in your answer sheets, do not leave any empty space. There's no negative marking in here. Even if it's wrong, you're not going to get a negative marking. So if you don't know the answer, or if you've missed the answer while listening to the audio, you could just guess and write your answer later during that 10-minute transfer time. So you can see here the sample answer sheet, and this is where you write your candidate name, write it in capital letters, and it should be very clear and neat. Candidate number, your center number, and your date. Write this and keep it aside. When you're finished with the audio, that 30-minute is over. Then you can transfer your answers to this sheet one by one. Please give yourself 3 minutes at the end to quickly go through and recheck your answer, which is vital. Rechecking your answers is vital. Remember that, trust me, you might change your answer towards the end. So please recheck. So this is the band score calculator for listening and reading. I've put the reading, academic and general beside here for comparison purpose. So for example, if you get 39 answers correct in your listening test, your score would be a 9. So try and get a 40 or a 39 is good for you. So this is how section 1 or part 1 looks like in your listening test. And we're going to do this together. I'm going to be playing an audio. You could do it along with me. Questions 1 to 8 is here. Complete the form below. Write no more than 3 words. Write no more than 3 words. That means a maximum of 3. It could be 1 word or 2 words or 3 words, but not 4. And a number. So 3 words and a number is okay. Or 2 words and a number is okay. Or 1 word and a number is okay, but not 4 words and a number. So no more than 3 words and or a number. So just a number also can be an answer. So I'm going to be playing the audio for this, and let's do this together. So now that we've read the instructions carefully, you have actually a little bit of time to read these questions. They'll give you a few minutes to read these questions. So during that time, read these questions carefully and understand what's going on in here. So there's a name that we need. We need the name of a college. The town is there. We need the postcode. There's the size of a container. So there's a length. We need the width and the height. The content of this container, one of it is the clothes. The other 2 is what we need, and the total estimated value. So let's go through the audio and let's find out the answer.
You will hear a telephone conversation between a customer and an agent at a company which ships large boxes overseas.
Good morning, Packham's shipping agents. Can I help you?
Oh, yes. I'm ringing to make inquiries about sending a large box, a container, back home to Kenya from the UK.
Yes, of course. Would you like me to try and find some quotations for you?
Yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I need a few details from you.
Fine.
Can I take your name?
It's Jacob M. Kelly.
Can you spell your surname, please?
Yes, it's M-K-E-R-E.
So this is where we were waiting for the first answer. We got his surname. It is M-K-E-R-E, and you'll be scribbling those letters over here. And do that very fast because they're going to give you the second answer.
Is that M for mother?
Yes.
Thank you. And
please note that the name was stressed again. The spelling of the name was stressed again.
you say that you will be sending the box to Kenya.
That's right.
And where would you like the box picked up from?
From college, if possible.
Yes, of course. I'll take down the address now.
It's Westall College.
Is that W-E-S-T-A-L-L?
Yes, college.
So we got the answer as the Westall College, and the spelling also has been given, so that is easy here. Just to write it down. Listen to the spellings very carefully as you write them down.
Westall College. And where's that?
It's Downlands Road in Bristol.
Oh, yes, I know it.
At this point, you need to be ready to hear the postcode.
And the postcode?
It's BS8 9PU.
Right.
So there, They just said BS89PU. They did not stress it again, so be careful. Some things they might repeat it, some of them they don't. So catch it at the first moment itself.
And I need to know the size.
Yes, I've measured it carefully and it's 1.5 meters long,
Right.
0.75 meters wide,
Okay.
and it's 0.5 meters high or deep.
So that is 0.7 and 0.5 meters. You just have to write 0.7 and 0.7 m and 0.5 m, just as it is here, is how they would expect you to write here in the same format. That is why you need to look at how they've written it over here. The same format is expected over here. So 1.5 m. So here it should be 0.7 m and 0.5 m.
Great. So I'll calculate the volume in a moment and get some quotes for that. But first, can you tell me, very generally, what will be in the box?
Yes, there's mostly clothes.
Okay.
And there's some books.
Okay, good. Anything else?
Yes, there's also some toys.
Okay, and what is the
So the answer for sixth one is books and the seventh one is toys.
total value, do you think, of the contents?
Well, the main costs are the clothes and the books. They'll be about £1,500. But then the toys are about another 200. So I put down £1,700.
So the value totally was £1,700. Now in here, can you see the symbol of pounds? So you don't have to write the symbol again, just write 1,700. If you write 1,700 pounds in your answer sheet, that would be wrong because the symbol is here already. The answer should be just 1700. I hope that is clear. Okay, now let's do a test. So this is a test for you. Questions 1 to 6. Complete the sentences below. So this is a sentence formation or sentence completion. Write no more than 3 words. So the answers could be just a word, 2 words, or 3 words. Now I'm going to read the audio script to you. Please listen carefully. You could fill in this as I read it out and post your answers in the comment section. Let's start. You could pause my video and take some time to read these questions before you listen to my audio script. The building occupied by the Museum of the History of Science was built as the Ashmolean Museum in 1683. It was erected by the university to house the famous Tredescent and Ashmolean collections, as well as to accommodate a chemical laboratory in the basement and space for teaching the new experimental natural philosophy, what today might call science. This space, originally called the School of Natural History, is now the entrance gallery. This was the first museum built in the world in the sense of a building specifically designed to be a museum. But it also housed activities that we do not often associate with early museums, such as experiment and teaching. When you leave the entrance gallery, look back at the title painted over the door, Schola Naturalis Historiae, the School of Natural History. The showcases on either side of the exit contain the kind of things that we used in this room in the 18th century. The Museum of the History of Science opened in this building in 1925. It's particularly famous for its very early scientific instruments, and central area of the entrance gallery illustrates the breadth of the collection. From Western Europe through the Islamic lands to the Far East, and from science to what we today would think of as magic. Then, in the 4 corners of the entrance gallery are 4 of the museum's important individual collections. This is the end of the audio script. Post your answers on the comment section. Episode 1's link is in the description box. Let's practice more tomorrow. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. See you tomorrow with more practice with section 1.